ولعابه وبيضه إلا المذر وما خرج بعد موته.
Okay, so we have here the elements. We start by speaking. So he's going to explain that very quickly. Rahmatullahi alayh. What are the elements that are considered pure? Tahir, al-tahir, al-hayy. So everything which is alive. Wa the sweat of someone who is alive, or the animals who are alive. So the sweat of animals who are alive, the tears, the phlegm, the saliva, the egg, except if it is rotten. وَمَا خَرَجَ بَعْدَ مَوْتِهِ. And if that animal dies, after it dies, whatever comes out of it, إلا المذر, except the things which are rotten and except the things which come out from the animal that has died. Is that clear? Everybody?
So, نعم. In this case, everything is tahir, everything is pure. Al-hayy, meaning that anything that's living is pure. Any sweat is pure. Any tears is pure. Any phlegm is pure, which is the mucus, or I believe it's that correct, or مخاطه is mucus, correct?
From the nose. From the nose.
Okay, from the nose. Okay. So from the nose as well. The
nose,
saliva.
the mouth, and the egg. Okay, clear?
Yeah.
وما
Yeah.
خرج بعد موته.
No, okay. وما خرج بعد موته. This is najis, correct?
This is the exception. إلا المذر, whatever it is rotten, it is najis. So that's the exception. And whatever comes out from the dead living thing. So any animal. So he'll explain it. Keep going. الأصل في الأشياء.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just writing it down because I don't want to forget it. Sorry,
Sure.
Sheikh. Apologize. All right. الأصل في الأشياء الطهارة. So
by default, everything is considered tahir. So we can't. So if we see something, the ruling that comes at first as a default is that it is tahir. فجميع أجزاء الأرض وما تولد.
نعم. فجميع أجزاء الأرض وما تولد منها طاهر.
Okay, so we're speaking about now anything which comes from the earth, anything that is born from the earth. فما تولد منها, it is طاهر. والنجاسة عارضة, and everything which is and the najasa is only something which is incidental. It's the exception. So the default and the main ruling for everything, it is tahara. And as for a najasa, it is something which is exceptional, and we have to understand those exceptions. فكل حي, everything which is alive, like everyone, the humans, the animals, and here he says even the dog and the swine is tahir. وكذا عرقه وما عطف عليه, and even their sweat and anything that is related to that animal. وما عطف عليه, anything which is associated with that living thing is tahir. And then we go faslun again. Faslun, وهو.
Okay.
No. Sorry. That is the sharh of al-Imam al-Sawi. So we move to the next page.
Yes, page 44.
Go to page 44 now.
سامحني سيدي الشيخ.
نعم.
What does it mean animal tahir? I don't understand that.
So when we study the fiqh, because the first pillar of Islam is as-salah, and at-tahara is the first thing, condition for salah.
Yes.
So we learn about the tahara, but before learning about the tahara, we start with the things which help us achieve or attain that purification, which is water. So in the previous classes we spoke about al-ma'ul mutlaq. الماء المطلق هو الطاهر النفسي المطهر لغيره. الطاهر لنفسه المطهر لغيره. And it is called الماء الطهور. It is called الماء الطهور.
Okay.
And الماء الطهور is derived from the hadith which says قال صلى الله عليه وسلم when he was asked about the sea هو الطهور ماؤه الحل ميتته. هو الطهور ماؤه الحل ميتته. So we spoke about the different categories of الطهور, and in this hadith it includes the sea water, which is salted. So we have all forms of waters. We have spoken about categories. All forms of waters that help us attain the state of purification. And this, what is الطهورية, the state of purification, is what allows us to perform ibadah. What allows us to perform ibadah. So now that we have completed the rulings of al-ma'u al-tahir, al-ma'u al-tahur, we are going to understand what are the things that are considered tahir and what are the things that are considered najis. So al-a'yan al-tahira wal-a'yan al-najisa. Al-a'yan al-tahira, the elements. So we want to know if we can, for instance, why would we need to know that? So that we can pray. If we need water to do our tahara, we also need to be dressed with something which is tahir, clean.
Mm-hmm.
And we should also be able to pray in the place which is clean, tahir.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to understand what are those elements which are considered tahir. And then the najis also, so that we don't, so we avoid it. So al-a'yan al-tahira, everything is tahir. Al-hayawan al-tahir, your question, what is al-hayawan al-tahir? Is
Yes.
Anything which is hayy, everything which is alive, any animal that breathes, any animal that moves, anything which is not an idle object.
No, but what do you mean? What do you mean by like? So so a dog is moving, then a dog is tahir?
Yes.
So what does it mean by dog is tahir? Like, why do I need to know about that? I'm sorry about that, Sheikh. Sorry for interrupting your.
No, that's fine. So a dog is tahir, his tears is tahir, his saliva is tahir. It says وَمَا تَوَلَّدَ مِنْهُ, anything which comes out from a dog, except for the feces and the urine.
Yeah.
Okay, everything is tahir. So why do we need to know that? Because we can be walking in the street and then a dog licks or touches us. A dog touches me in the elevator. Many people say, "Khalas, I have to go home and remove my clothes and have to take a shower." No, you don't have to do that.
Okay, I got it. Jazakallah khair, and that's my answer. I really Jazakallah khair and barakallah fik, Sheikh.
Well, yeah.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. I didn't know that myself. I actually was always under the impression that if you had the saliva, then you don't do wudu. But I guess I was one of those people. So if it's not for the urine or the excrements, everything else is does not. Okay, I understand. Jazakallah khair.
Well, yes.
Me too, Adam. I wasn't the same impression as you too.
Yes, absolutely. Jazakallah khair.
So, Safwan, إلا البيضة المذرة.
نعم. Yes, hold on. I went back because we reviewed once again الأعيان. Now, okay. إلا البيضة المذرة بفتح الميم وكسر الذال المعجمة.
What is المعجمة?
Good question, Sheikh.
المعجمة is you have a dal. الدال. Does it have any points on top of it?
المعجمة النقطة يعني.
النقطة. So if a dal has a نقطة,
it's ذال.
If a dal has a نقطة, it becomes معجمة.
Okay, ممتاز.
Okay. So بفتح الميم وكسر الذال المعجمة
وهو ما تغير بعفونة أو زرقة.
So we're speaking about the exceptions, except the egg. So we know the egg is tahir, but then the egg could be rotten. You open the egg and you find something rotten inside. How did it become rotten? It says بعفونة أو زرقة أو صار دما. So it became blue because of blood, or it became red because of blood, or it became blue because it has become rotten. So the egg, you can tell that the egg has become rotten. So the egg, by default, it is tahir, but if it has changed and become rotten, it becomes najis. فإنه نجس بخلاف المرموق. What is المرموق?
أستاذ شيخنا في المتن يقول ممروق.
الممروق ميما ميم.
اوكي ممروق. اوكي ممتاز.
اوكي اقرأ بالعربي. وهو ما اختلط.
طيب إلا بخلاف الممروق وهو ما اختلط بياضه بصفاره من غير نتونة وإلا ما خرج من الحيوان من بيض أو مخاط أو دمع أو لعاب بعد موته بلا ذكاة شرعية فإنه يكون نجسا. Big definition.
Okay, so here الشارح which is Imam al-Dardir himself, he's explaining what is meant بخلاف المرموق. المرموق. So al-marmuq is simply the egg. You know, sometimes you open the egg and it's already been mixed inside, or you mixed it. So if it is mixed, the yellow with the white, that doesn't make any difference. It hasn't been rotten. Okay, but he gives us another exception here. إلا ما خرج من الحيوان من بيض أو مخاط أو دمع. So everything that we have mentioned earlier, which is the phlegm, the saliva, the sweat, the tears, all of that is tahir, except if the animal has passed away, has died. Okay, بلا ذكاة شرعية. So let's say you have a sheep. A sheep is halal to eat, correct?
Yes.
It is halal to eat, but you have to sacrifice it. ذكاة شرعية. So if you sacrifice it, after it is sacrificed, the sweat, the tears, and so on remain tahir. But if it has not been sacrificed properly, it has passed away, it has fallen dead, then all of those things are najis. Clear?
Okay, so يعني yeah, so أي حيوان that was sacrificed through the ذكاة الشرعية, everything that comes out of it from مخاط أو دمع أو لعاب, saliva, all of that is طاهر.
Yes.
But if it was dead without that sacrifice, it's najis, everything that comes out from it.
MashaAllah, good.
Okay, and I think Sheikh, you said that, I don't want to go too much here, but I believe a human being is a different story, correct?
Sorry, guys, 1 second.
Sheikh.
I'm going to mute unless you want to speak. Please unmute. Is that okay? Everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah, unless you want to speak, just unmute. Allah yarda alik. What did you say, Safwan?
So I was saying that I think you one time you spoke about a little bit of a different perspective when it comes to a human being, how it's tahir, dead and alive and stuff. But I don't know. Is it the same, like for a human being? Is it different, or because we just spoke about hayawan?
Al-hayawan. That's a very good question. Barakallahu fik. Very, very good question. Very good question. The human being remains tahir even after it is dead.
Okay.
Even if the human is not, if the human, whether the human is Muslim or any religion, it remains tahir.
Okay.
Even though Allah says, إِنَّمَا الْمُشْرِكُونَ نَجَسٌ. Correct?
Yes.
That is najasatun ma'nawiyya. It is not najasatun hissiyya.
Okay. Yani spiritual, yani spiritual najasa.
Yeah. It's, I wouldn't say spiritual. It is ma'nawiyya is something which It's not spiritual. It's the opposite of physical.
Psychological? No.
No, it's another word. We can find it, inshallah, after another time. So
Okay.
next, please go on.
Yes. فإنه يكون نجسا فهذا في الحيوان الذي ميتته نجسة.
فهذا في الذي ميتته نجسة. Yeah.
نعم. Because I think we didn't say that sentence. Now we just said, sorry.
Now what does that mean? الحيوان. So all the animals that okay, not all the animals. So we just said that you had a good question. What about the human being? The human being, when he dies, he remains tahir. But the animals, most of the the animals that we can eat and that we sacrifice and we consume, they are tahir if they are properly sacrificed. If not, they become najis. But it says here فهذا في الحيوان الذي ميتته نجسة. That means, so he's saying here, this we're talking about the animals which become najis if they die. So here, as if to imply that there are animals that if they die, they do not become najis. Which are those?
Maybe seawater animals?
Very good. Naam. And that's in the same hadith. هو الطهور ماؤه الحل ميتته. In the same hadith, when they asked Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam about seawater, and he responded with more than what he was asked. He says about the seawater, هو الحل ماؤه طهور ماؤه. The water is tahir, and whatever dies in it, it is halal to eat. So if you have a fish that is thrown to the shore of the sea, it is tahir and it is halal to eat. You don't have to sacrifice it. So this means that this animal, if it dies, it is not najis, it is tahir. Clear?
Yes, Sheikh.
Safwan, read the rest. وبلغم.
Yes. وبلغم وصفراء وميت الآدم وما لا دم له والبحري وما ذكي من غير محرم الأكل والشعر وزغب الريشي. Sorry.
So al-balgham, I guess it's the thick saliva. Wallahu alam. وصفراء. Safra'un is the yellow water that comes, the yellow fluid that comes from our throat, and it is sometimes it is bitter or whatever. وميت الآدمي. وميت. Oh, so he's talking about if a human being passes away. وميت الآدمي. All of this is tahir. وما لا دم له. And animals that do not have, and animals that do not have any blood. وما لا دم له. والبحري. And the animals that are from the sea. وما ذكي من غير محرم الأكل. وما ذكي. An animal that has been sacrificed because you can eat it after it's sacrificed. وما ذكي من غير محرم الأكل. So if it is halal to eat, if it is not haram to eat, then it's halal. Because there are some animals which are not haram, but it is makruh. Okay, that's why he says غير محرم الأكل. So he's being very, very accurate. He didn't say حلال الأكل. He says غير محرم الأكل. وما ذكي من غير محرم الأكل والشعر. And the hair وزغب الريش. And the hair. So all types of hair. The hairs of the humans, the hairs of the animals, and وزغب الريش. The filaments that come out from the feathers. So الشعر, there are also many forms. The elephant has a very small and light type of hair. The camel has also a very different type, and so all of those are tahir. So read the rest. البلغم هو ما يخرج.
نعم. البلغم وهو ما يخرج من الصدر منعقدا كالمخاط.
Yeah. So it's a thick saliva that comes from the chest. وكذا ما يسقط من الدماغ. I don't want to go through that. It's an exception. من آدمي أو غيره طاهر. So all of that is طاهر. وكذا الصفراء. So what is الصفراء? Read.
نعم. وكذا الصفراء وهي ماء أصفر ملتحم يخرج من المعدة يشبه الصبغ الزعفراني.
الصبغة الزعفرانية. So
الصبغ الزعفراني. نعم.
Yeah. So that's the whatever, I don't know what's the proper translation. It is the fluid from the esophagus. لأن المعدة. So if it comes from the esophagus, this fluid originates from the stomach. So he says that this safra, which originates from the stomach and comes from, and you feel it in your throat, in the esophagus, the reason why it is tahir, it's because we consider the stomach to be tahir. So the inside of the organs of the human is considered tahir. Okay, and then read the rest. ملم.
نعم. لأن المعدة عندنا طاهرة فما خرج منها طاهر ما لم يستحل إلا فساد كالقي المتغير.
Okay. By the way, if you drop off in a few minutes, you can come on after that, because I only have 30 minutes, I think. So unless we finished by then, inshallah. And also tell me, please, how much we can do without getting bored and lose interest. So we just keep it nice and short and easy, inshallah. Let me know.
How can we get bored with what you're saying, Sheikh Yusuf?
Allah yarda alayk.
Come on.
Allah yaftah alayk, Allah yastarek. So what were you saying, Safwan?
نعم. فقلنا لأن المعدة عندنا طاهرة فما خرج منها طاهر ما لم يستحل إلا فساد كالقي المتغير. I think this is vomit, شيخنا. كالقي.
Al-qay is vomit, but not all vomit is najis. When does it become najis? Is if it has spent enough time in the stomach and it became rotten, it has decayed, it has that's what is meant here by ma lam yastahil. Stahil, it has changed to another character, to another property. Ma lam yastahil ila fasadin. So it has transformed into something which is rotten. كالقيء المتغير, like the vomit which has deteriorated, like decayed. However, so if that's the case, and someone just ate and 5 minutes later he throws up, is that vomit najis or tahir?
It's طاهر يا شيخنا, because it was not enough in the stomach.
Very good. Very important. Keep that in mind. Very, very good. So if someone throws up immediately, or like even within 15 minutes after they have eaten, the food has not transformed, then that vomit is tahir. And why do we need to know this? Well, someone is praying, okay, and then he threw up a little bit. Let's say he threw up a little bit. You want to know whether that vomit is tahir or najis. If it's najis, you have to go and change and clean everything. ومن الطاهر. So ومن الطاهر.
نعم. ومن الطاهر ميتة الآدمي ولو كافرا على الصحيح.
Okay, so that's your question, right?
Yes.
The question was, so here is also he's explaining another like a footnote. It's like a footnote to speak about what we may or may not have understood. So a human being that is dead, a dead human being is pure. Its properties remain pure, even if that human being is not a Muslim, or is whether that person is a Christian or a Jew or a Sikh or an atheist. That human being is a human being. Wallahu alam. That's why Allah says وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ. Allah has honored the human being. وَهَذَا عَلَى الصَّحِيح. So this is as if to say there may be other opinions, but this is the strong opinion, the most preponderant. And he didn't say al-mashhur, he didn't say al-rajih, he used a very different word here. So usually all of that we are reading here, everything that we are learning is al-mashhur. Al-mashhur is the popular opinion of the madhab. Al-rajih, al-rajih becomes a question of discussion when you have two opinions and one is more preponderant than the other. So al-mashhur is the popular opinion of our madhab. Al-rajih is what becomes the most preponderant if there are more than one opinion. And here he used a new term, which is as-sahih, ala as-sahih. Wallahu alam. وَمَيْتَةُ مَا لَا دَمَ لَهُ مِنْ جَمِيعِ. No, go to the next page.
نعم من جميع خشاش الأرض كعقرب وجندب وخنفس.
So any insect from the earth that lives on the earth, any insect or animal that crawls, that's also, is it tahir?
Well, it depends on what I just saw in the sentence. Let me see.
Yeah,
so
go
says,
back and read it again.
نعم هو يتكلم على الطهر وميتة ما لا دم له من جميع خشاش الأرض
Okay,
كعقرب.
so he says here, let's just go back for 1 minute.
نعم.
Go page 44 and he says وميتة والوا هنا, even though there is a period after على الصحيح, الواو هنا واو عطف, and so in Arabic the word wa, حرف الوا, when you say and, there are different meanings of wa. Waw al-atf means the next statement. This next statement is an addition to what have been said before. So it's the same thing, the same idea, the same meaning. So we're talking about tahara. What is tahir? So we said maytatul adamiyyi is tahir. Wa maytatu ma la dama lahu min jami'i al-hashish al-ard is tahir. So that's the statement here. So where will atf here? Go to page 45.
نعم.
So we're talking about also khashash al-ard. All these animals, all these little insects or living things that crawl on top of the earth, like the scorpion, the insects, wa jundubin wa khunfusin, these little insects. I don't have the exact translation for these. ومنه البرغوث. البرغوث is the small flies that fly or that are on top of the clothes sometimes. بخلاف القمل. So all of these are tahir except بخلاف القمل. القمل is what?
Is lice, Sheikh, صح?
It's lice. Lice is what's with the lice? Lice has blood. I think it sucks blood from the person, the human being. So because it's got blood, it is not tahir.
نعم.
Okay.
Do I continue, Sheikh, or
Continue.
I think there's 2 minutes and 30 seconds left for the recording.
Okay. Yeah, we only spoke for 20 minutes because I was waiting in the beginning. But if you want to continue, we can jump right on again.
طيب عادي, we can complete this statement and then maybe we can see if we can continue. That's okay.
That's fine. That's fine.
All right. So we said ومنه البرغوث بخلاف القمل وكذا ميتة البحري من السمك وغيره ولو طالت حياته بالبر. الله أكبر.
Okay, what does that mean?
So ميتة البحر يعني any dead animal from the sea, from fish and others, even if it lives longer on earth than in water, like maybe, I don't know, timsah, maybe, I don't know, maybe crocodile.
Exactly. So if you have animals that are not considered barri, like that live on the earth, like we live on the earth, and there's animals that are from the earth and animals that are from the sea. So things like animals that even that if they are on the earth but they spend some time in the sea or under the water or somewhere, like the turtle, the penguin, the alligator, crocodile, those animals live outside, and they all live to some level of degree inside and outside. Some live longer inside, some live longer outside. So it doesn't matter whether they live longer inside or outside, they're considered part of both. But because they live inside of the water, they're considered bahri, or they are part of the water. So those animals are that we don't sacrifice an alligator. If we don't sacrifice a turtle. We can eat a turtle, for instance. I think in the Maliki it's acceptable. The frog as well in the Maliki. Wallahu alam. So those animals, if they die, they are tahir. Okay.
Yes.
بخلاف محرمه. So if an animal, we cannot eat an animal like the donkey, the mule, the horse, and if they cannot be sacrificed and we don't eat them because we don't sacrifice them, those become najis when they die.